All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is another special business spotlight, and today we're talking about a relatively recent addition to the community, the Royal Court Pickleball Club. If you're not familiar with this, it's on the southeastern part of Herriman, over in the Rockwell Landing, kind of commercial development, basically right off of Porter Rockwell Blvd. You'll find it right there. So I'm excited to talk about this today. I've played pickleball a little bit, but just kind of off-camera conversation and perusing the website. I'm excited to come over to Royal Court and give it a try. Scott Johnston, the head pro and the manager at Royal Court, joining us today. How are you doing, Scott?
Doing great. Appreciate you having me over here. We've been wanting to get our name kind of out there a little bit. People are familiar with some of the other pickleball clubs that are in the valley. The way we're kind of nestled over there, you don't just drive by and necessarily see it. So opportunities like this are great. Can't wait to talk a little bit about this.
So first off, a lot of people are familiar with the sport of pickleball. What's the purpose of a pickleball club? What makes it different than just some random park with a pickleball court? What makes Royal Court special?
It's kind of been an evolution. So I started playing pickleball 6 years ago, and when I first started playing pickleball, it was outside. You had to play outside, and so you were really at the mercy of Mother Nature. If it was nice, you had a good pickleball day. And then you start to learn what works and what doesn't work. I mean, I've actually brought one right here. I'm going to pull it out. So this is a pickleball. This is an outdoor pickleball. It was a wiffle ball. And so as it gets windier, it affects the movement of this thing. And so I've played in 20-mile-per-hour winds, and the faster the wind, the less fun it gets. Right. It's just more challenging. And then you got the cold. And you're just out in the elements trying to play this sport. And before it grew in popularity, you were just forced to play outside. So when I got into pickleball, that's what it was. It was an outdoor game. And there were very few tournaments, and pickleball courts were just starting to kind of pick up a little bit. And now, as the popularity's grown, the demand for it all year, it's just there. And so you've got these indoor pickleball clubs that have the outdoor surface, which is kind of important. As you get better and better, you start to know the difference between playing on a wood gym floor if you're playing indoors versus playing on a nice outdoor surface with the acrylic and the sand in it, and it's just a better experience. And so more and more of these indoor facilities have popped up.
So I'm curious, you said you started playing about 6 years ago. How do you go from never having played pickleball to becoming the head pro at Royal Court? What was that journey like for you? What got you interested in pickleball?
So for me, it was kind of an accident because I came from a cycling background. I ran a cycling team in Utah called Zone 5 Racing, and just loved it. I raced. We had a pretty organized team, 150 people on the team. And every year we would go to St. George in the late winter, early spring to kind of have our cycle camp as the kickoff for the year. And we were down at St. George, and our morning ride on, I think it was Friday morning, our Friday morning ride got canceled because it had just rained a little bit. And with it being cooler, the roads really didn't dry out, and we weren't really planning on that. So I didn't have most of the team didn't have the equipment to ride in the wet. So we postponed it, but as it started to clear up a little bit, we were still too close to our afternoon ride, so we had like 3 or 4 hours to kill. And one of the guys that was staying in the big team house we were staying at down there said, "Hey, anybody want to go try some pickleball?" And sure, I'm just bored here. In my mind, I think it's the same as what a lot of people's thoughts were about pickleball. This is that sport that just old people do just so that they can get out and maybe visit with some people, be social, but I didn't really take it seriously. Anyway, so there's a place down there called Little Valley, and it was one of the biggest pickleball complexes for a while. At the time, I think it had like 25 courts. So anyway, he said, "Let's go over here." So we went over there, and as we walked on, my first exposure to pickleball was there were some pros there. They still play, actually, and they were playing pickleball. So rather than playing pickleball initially, I walked in and I saw young kids that were pros playing pickleball. And so my first exposure to it was this high-level stuff, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This isn't just this, soft little tapping this ball back and forth. It was some pretty intense play. And so we watched for about an hour, and then we went and played on our own for about another hour. And that started it. I got home from the cycle camp, and in fact, while I was down there, I bought my first paddle. I went over to Big Five and I bought a paddle, and then went home, and a couple of the guys that I worked with, we all started playing. So 2 or 3 times a week, the 4 of us would go and play pickleball. And so initially it was just for fun, but then you find out about a tournament over here. Well, let's go see how this was, and it just evolved from there. And after about a year and a half, 2 years of playing pickleball recreationally, the cycling started to fade away. I certainly don't race at all. I play pickleball. That's what I pretty much do full time, because now I play on a pro tour, the National Pickleball League. So I travel around doing stuff. But it evolved to that because as I was getting better and better, I'd met some local pros and took some lessons from them, got to know them, learned how to drill, learned how to practice, and right before I turned, because I turned 52, and the year you turn 50, so the year that you're 49, you turn 50, you're eligible to play at the senior level pro. Well, senior, anything that's 50 plus. And as I entered that, I'd gotten to where I was playing pretty good pickleball, but I wanted to, when I turned 50, when I was eligible, I wanted to be able to have my first 50 plus event be a pro event. And so I started working with Chuck Taylor, who also works at our club, and Callie Smith. They were fantastic. They were really what helped me get all brushed up and got me all tuned up for playing pickleball. So I went into my first tournament as a pro and got 4th. So it was pretty good.
Nice.
So yeah, and then it's just kind of been a journey from there. So I've been playing the senior pro for, this will be, at the end of this year, it'll be 3 years.
Wow.
It's been great. So it took me a little longer to move up from not knowing how to do anything in pickleball to be able to play at the level that I play, just because I didn't have, it helps to have like a tennis background or a racquetball background or even badminton. Some of these things help translate. I didn't have any of that. I was a cyclist. And then before that, I was like a track guy. I played soccer. I was a wrestler in high school. And so I didn't really, I played volleyball. I liked volleyball, so maybe there's a net and there's a ball, but I don't know how much that helped with transitioning over to pickleball. So it was a little harder, a slower journey for me than it would be for some people who maybe came from one of those other racket sports.
Yeah. So as you were talking about that, you described a lot of thought patterns that I know I've had. I usually play with my brother. We've both had a variety of sports in our background, and my first instinct was kind of some hesitancy, kind of like you described, and I started playing, and I thought, oh, this is really fun. And I think most people, once they get an exposure to pickleball, will probably feel very similarly. It's a fun sport. It's accessible for a lot of different physical abilities and ages. And Royal Court is a pretty good way to kind of dip your toe in the water for anybody who has a sporting background or somebody who has no sporting background. It can be for everybody.
It really is. The idea behind pickleball, right from the rules, where the serving has to be like an underhand serve, the 2-bounce rule. There's some rules that pickleball was not meant to be this intense, fast game like badminton would be or tennis. And it doesn't require a lot of skill to be able to just get on and get a ball going back and forth. So if you were to come on the court and you never played, within 10 or 15 minutes, I could have you hitting a ball the proper way and getting it over the net and hitting it where you want to, enough to where you could get out and play a game. So that is an allure to a lot of people, because if you don't have that history of playing other sports or something like that, you can get out and start having fun within the first time you're playing. Whereas some of these other sports, to really get out and have a good time playing tennis, it takes a long time. So with pickleball, you can pick it up quick. It's not super complicated. You can play at various levels. Like you can have somebody who's a 3-0 and you can still play with a 3-5. You can still play with other level people and still have a good time. Whereas a lot of other sports, if you're off a little bit on level, it's hard to make it work. And it's generational. The first tournament I played in, the winners was a grandpa and a grandson. So how many sports can you play competitively and reach and bridge that gap of 2 generations? Yeah. And older people. The second tournament I played in, one of the guys that he beat us 11-1, 11-0. He and his wife. He had a cane in one hand and a pickleball paddle in the other hand.
Wow.
And they just hit the ball in spots that we couldn't get to. And so you can't really look at somebody and determine whether or not they're going to be a great pickleball player or not. And like I said, there's a lot of various levels to it. And at Royal, we've got that. We've got introductory programs. So if you've never played before, you can come over to Royal. We've got the very beginner, never even touched a paddle. You come on, we teach you how to do it. We have programs set to help move you up through. I'm running, it's called the Royal Academy. And so if you're very beginning, you come into the academy, it's going to be a 4-week-long deal. You can go right from beginner to the 2.0 level. And then I have another one that goes from 2.5 to 3.0, 3.0 to 3.5, 3.5 to 4.0, 4.0 to 4.5. And it's an academy that you can sign up and you learn all the things that you need to know and practice to be able to move up through those different levels. And then there's leagues that you can play in. There's open play that you can play in. So it doesn't matter what level you are. You'll walk in there and it's an amazing facility. The playability is there's nowhere else that I've been that's like this. And so sometimes people come in and think, oh, this might be a place for just the pros to come and play. And yes, the pros come and play there. But we got 10 courts. And we have stuff going on all the different courts, and there's different programming and stuff like that meet the needs for every level. So you can be just a little family that wants to come over and the 4 of you and play. Great. Reserve a court, come on over. If you want to take some lessons, we've got great pros to do that. We've got a junior thing. So people who, the high school kids, we've got Spencer Smith is going to be running our junior academy, and he's going to help take these juniors and help develop them into potentially playing at the pro level. So it kind of covers everything.
Let's talk about membership. So you said... first, people, if they want to kind of dip their toe in and see what it's all about, they can show, as far as I understand, show up for free and just kind of get a first introductory taste at it. Is that true? And if they remain interested, what do memberships look like?
So thanks for asking. That's probably one of the things that differentiates us from some of the other places. Traditionally, memberships have been you come in and you pay a annual fee and you can play, and there's different levels of that. But let's just take the biggest one. You pay the high premium, and you can come in and play as much as you want. They call it the unlimited membership. And we have one of those. For $12.99, you can come in, buy that thing, and we're going to give you this super nice bag. We're going to give you a paddle. We're going to give you one of these little training paddles. We're going to outfit you with everything you're going to need to be able to play. You can have all this advanced booking. There's all kinds of nice little benefits, and it's good for a year. In fact, if you signed up right now, we're going to give you the rest of this year for free, and then you'll get all next year taken care of. And traditionally, that's what most clubs have done. But then we added another kind of membership, and it's a membership that gives people flexibility to do stuff. Because if I just buy the unlimited membership for me, that's good for me. I can play as much as I want. I can schedule it. But if I book a court and I bring 3 people with me, each of those people have to pay their hourly rate to be able to play on that court with me. Now, if I do the point system, so 1 hour is $1 is what it breaks down to. If you just walk in off the road and you want to rent a court to play right now, we're at $7 per person per hour on a court. So 4 of you just walked in and wanted to play, you can do that. You can come in, hey, what court's open? We send you over on a court. You're paying $7 per person per hour. But you can actually get that for less. So if you buy them in bulk, like if you come in, you buy $1,299 worth of points, we're going to give you 1,500 hours. Now with those hours, they never expire. So if it takes you 2 years to use all those points, it takes you 2 years to use all those points. Whereas the traditional way of doing it, you just buy that annual membership. If something happens, you get sick, you get hurt or something like that, you got a year to play as much as you want. Whereas if you have the points thing, there's no loss to your hourly rate if you don't play all the time. And there's flexibility. So if I wanted to take 4 of my friends, I can pay for all of them. If I want to just send 4 people over there, if I want to send 8 people over there, I can use my points however I want. If I want to use my points to buy a paddle in the paddle shop, in the pro shop, which by the way, we have an amazing pro shop. It has a little miniature court in there. There's all these demo paddles. It's fantastic for getting kind of a little exposure and seeing what's available out there as far as equipment and gear. But those points, you can use them however you want. And they're flexible, so they're not just my points. Well, they are my points, but they're my points to use however I want. And so now if I want to go play with 4 friends, it's not just taking care of me. I can pay for them. They can reimburse me. And by me buying them at the discount, instead of paying $7 per hour, I'm paying, I guess it would be like, if you bought the biggest one, you'd be paying $5.60. So by buying them in advance, you're getting a discount on your hourly rate on the court. And so I like that idea better. I prefer it, but some people like the traditional way of doing it, and that's okay. We can do that. But and then as well, you come in off the street. We're not penalizing people for not being a member. So you don't come in, you don't pay some guest fee, you don't pay, a one-time. There's no other fees. It's just come in, you pay to play. You can buy your points in advance. You can pay when you get there. We prefer that people there's an app called Court Reserve. And that way you can get on there, you can reserve a court in advance, pay for it, and that way you're all set when you come in. You can just come in, scan, and start to play.
What a cool way to do that. I like the flexibility. I like that you're not trapped in one single time window with the point idea. And we were talking before I was playing with my wife earlier this spring, and like an idiot, I hit the ball out clear onto the parking lot, went to go chase it, hurt my knee, and that was the end of pickleball for the whole summer for me. With this point system, I'm not penalized for that. I can come back later now that my knee's better and be able to use those points.
Every week that you don't play on an annual membership, your price per court hour goes up. Whereas the points, very flexible, can use them all the time. And, I mean, the playability at our courts, well, first of all, you wouldn't have had to chase that ball down. There's a fence there to stop your ball from rolling across the parking lot. And then the contrast. We've gone out of our way. We put these nice sound baffles in there so that the sound, you go to some of these other clubs and it's just hard to hear. It's very loud, very noisy. We put in these sound baffles, much like what you've got in here, that took the sound. The sound dissipation was at 10 seconds in there, which is pretty standard for these big warehouses. Ours is down to 2.
Wow.
By putting these in here. We put blackouts on the backs of courts so you don't have distractions on there. The colors that we picked, we made it so these courts have the best playability. So you're going to be able to have the best experience for really, compared to the other courts, it's a little bit more expensive. But when I say a little bit, you're talking annually like $100 more. But the experience is $1,000 more. I mean, they're just really good courts.
Yeah. So I'll use myself as an example here. So I have played some pickleball. I enjoy it. I understand the basics and how it works. If I want to get better, are there clinics or drills or times that I can come and work on skill improvement outside of just traditional playing games?
Yeah, so good question. You're going to get better as you play, but the process of getting better is going to be slow. So over at Royal, we have clinics that we put on. We have leagues that you can sign up for, so you'll get more pickleball play time. The best way of getting better quicker, if that's what you want to do, which seems like a lot of people end up going down, they'll go in there play, especially if you're the fourth guy in the group and you're the worst, you're the worst of the four. That's usually the person that comes to me and says, I got to get better. I'm tired of being the guy that everybody loses with. And it can be frustrating. And so, there's drills. I teach, we've got all the pros will do private lessons. We do clinics regularly. We've got the academy. And once you kind of learn how to do things the right way, generally it takes me one lesson to show people, here's what you're doing wrong. Here's how simple it is to make those changes. And when you start learning the proper technique on how to play pickleball, it becomes easier to do it well, or at least to do it better. And then when I show people the drills that they can do to practice, some of them you can do all by yourself. Others, you need a partner, and it helps get that muscle memory on how to play. And so, we've got everything somebody needs to do it, including the option to play for free. We've partnered with Walmart for Break the Love. So if somebody's interested in coming and learning how to and wanting to play free a few times, there's this cool little program called Break the Love where we have a few courts that are set aside. Now they get booked up pretty quick, but there's courts that we have set aside where if you sign up for that program, you can book courts and play for free, and Walmart will pay the bill on that.
That's really neat.
Kind of a cool thing, yeah.
So if they want to find that information about Break the Love and that program, or membership rates or court reservations, where can they find you?
It's all on our website, royalcourtpb.com. It's the Royal Court Pickleball Club over in Herriman. You can swing in, come visit us. I'd love to give you a little tour, walk you around, show you what it was that we've done there that makes us better than the other clubs. Have you look at the pro shop, and then we've got a little card there. You can just scan the QR code, and it'll set you up for Court Reserve, which is the app that we use for scheduling. Then there's also a little QR code that you can scan that'll show you how to sign up for Break the Love. And then you can get some free court time, and Walmart's happy to cover that.
Very cool. And I'm curious, too, why Herriman? Why is Royal Court Pickleball Club in Herriman as opposed to maybe any other surrounding community?
So the first club that opened up that was indoor, that had the outdoor surfaces, was down in Orem, and everybody went there. And then another one opened up in Sandy, and then another one opened up East Sandy, and then there was one in West Jordan. So as we got looking at where the clubs were located, it was all like kind of down the I-15 corridor east. There really wasn't anything over here, and there's a lot of good pickleball players that are over here in the Herriman, Bluffdale, Riverton, South Jordan, Saratoga Springs, Lehigh area that all had to go to the other side of the valley. Well, Henry Bonin, he was running a company out of there called the HB Group, and he had sold it. Well, he still had several years left on his lease, and so he thought, this is a good spot. And when I saw that, I swung in and got talking and thought, this is a great spot. So he says, we could do it right. And so it was just kind of fortuitous that it worked out to where he had the building in a good spot where there's a lot of growth and development, and it was on the west side to help accommodate for all of us that have been driving so far all the time to be able to go play pickleball. So there will be more that'll pop up over here on the west side because there's just a lot of really good pickleball players over here. We're just the first to venture out in this neck of the woods.
Great. Well, I'm excited. I didn't plan on playing pickleball this week, but now I probably will. I'll probably stop by and check it out. And
swing over. We'll get you out there, and I'll just show you a few quick things that'll make it easier to enjoy it first time around over there.
Love it. Royal Court Pickleball Club, southeastern side of the city, easy to find, easy to get to, just a quick jaunt over on Mountain View Corridor from anywhere you are in Herriman, and a place where you can go play and learn pickleball.
Right on.
So, okay. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions for Royal Court Pickleball Club, you can find their contact information on their website, or you can just run down there and ask them face-to-face.
Run down, come visit me.
Yeah.
As you walk in, I'm the first door on the right. Come say hey to Scott. Be happy to talk with you.
There you go. That's Scott Johnston, manager and head pro at Royal Court Pickleball Club. Thank you for listening and watching, and we'll catch you next time.